people have no comprehension how large this is going to be. I think it's one of the largest underpriced parts of the market. This world is coming at you fast. But there's more than that. The next big thing to come out was NFTs. And here we go again, a lot of teeth sucking. Well, they're a bubble. I don't think you even know what NFTs are if you think it's a bubble. What they are is a way of authenticating assets digitally. That is something the world needs, because all of this internet of value that's being built across Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the other protocols and elsewhere is all about trust. So when you put something on an NFT, you're creating trust. And trust creates scarcity. And scarcity creates value. Now, this is where everybody gets NFTs wrong. They're like, well, what? We can just put anything on an NFT, attach it to an NFT, and now it's valuable? No. Some of that stuff is trading because it's proof of concept going on. Most of this meme stuff is worth zero. Most of this stuff is worth zero. But what Beeple did was real. You see, Beeple's piece of art was groundbreaking. It was the digital journey of his artwork. Over 5,000 pieces of art over 14 years. Which in itself is extraordinary. That sold for $69 million, as we all know. That's about 15 grand a piece of art. So actually not that valuable. But what it was a real artist that was acknowledged by the art world, i.e. people who want to put money into the asset, as valuable. And that's great. It was actually outbid by not the art world, but by somebody from the crypto space who also appreciates it. And there's a good story behind that too. So Beeple's art was groundbreaking because this was as abhorrent to most people as, let's say, Damien Hirst and his shark in formaldehyde, or Tracy Emin and that messy room, or any of the modern wave of British artists, as abhorrent as Jackson Pollock was with his spray paint, his stuff, or Andy Warhol was. Everything that comes out of art that has real value is generally not considered to have value by the majority. They think it's ridiculous. How can a piece of digital stuff that can be replicated be worth anything? Well, interestingly enough, it's all about authentication. So, photographs have value. Original photographs that are signed by the photographer have real value. If you own the negative, it has even more value. A book that is printed has value, whatever value that is, minimal. A book, a first edition of that book has rarity, it has more value. A first edition of that book signed by the author has more value. A first edition of a book signed by William Shakespeare has almost limitless value. So it's the layers of rarity that come into it. And NFTs do that. So I'm really interested in that NFT space because it spreads. It's not just about art. Art is an easy way of looking at it. And also, by the way, just think about what a painting is. Yeah, but a Michelangelo painting, that's worth millions, but this piece of art is rubbish. It's only digital. Well, that's a piece of cotton canvas with some paint on it. Total cost, current price, probably about $50. We can trade at $500 million. And the premium is the price of the art and the authenticity and the rarity. So art is a very subjective market. And what's nice for you or me is not nice for somebody else. That picture behind me is actually an NFT made by the two quants guys who developed the Real Vision bots that we see on Real Vision a lot. That's an NFT, and I printed it out, put it on my wall. Now, is it going to be worth anything? Not unless they become rich and famous, or some other reason, or the artist does. But it's kind of neat, and it just shows that we can use NFTs in different ways. But NFTs are not just about that. NFTs, don't forget, is attaching scarcity and value and trust to an asset digitally. So it can apply to real assets like wine. It can attach to real estate. So we're all waiting for the growth of tokenized real estate. And as securities laws change and come up to speed, we're going to see an explosion in that. My guess is the next cycle we will see a massive change. Now, why should real estate be tokenized? Real estate should be tokenized because it stops just the rich people getting rich in the high-end real estate. Because again, if you remember, because of the monetary debasement and the fact that they get more money, they get to invest in the more expensive property, which goes up more because there's more money in that space and everybody else gets left behind. But if you tokenize it, everybody can own a share. So you can have the same percentage share of your net worth in it as a multi-billionaire. That's groundbreaking. That's all of this digital space does that. It completely levels the playing field. So the Beeple art, interesting enough, there was another bunch of Beeple art that was bought and then tokenized and then sold. And I'll come into that story a bit in the metaverse. But that truly was groundbreaking because everybody can own it. So one rich guy can own the $69 million piece and a bunch of ordinary people can own the rest. Phenomenal, massive game change. And it's not like a REIT. A REIT has all sorts of rinky-dink shit in it. It's not a pure play. It's different. You actually physically have legal title to part of it with an NFT. But NFTs also game-changing for the music industry. So if you see my conversations with people like RAC, Andre is pioneering that. We've seen the Kings of Leon, we've seen a bunch of bands starting to realize that this is going to disrupt the middlemen in music. 80% of all money in music goes to middlemen, not the artist, which is kind of insane. We think bankers are egregious in what they take. Well, in this, it's really all of the economics. But when you can put your own things on a blockchain and sell them directly to your community as NFTs, well, then you've got a direct relationship with your community. I'll come on to communities a bit more in a sec. But that's fascinating. But what's more fascinating is the fact that you can then price scarcity for different people. So if the bulk of your people will buy your album or stream it for free so you get paid virtually nothing from Spotify, then there's the next tier. And currently, that's the people who go to concerts. So your concert ticket's $50, $100. Okay. So you've got extracted more value from people because it's rarer, because you get to see the artist physically. And then you might have the meet and greet, which you pay a bit more money for. Okay, that's basically all there is for artists. And then the rest have to do by, wauring themselves out to brands. Oh, here, I love Nike shoes. I mean, it's like, really? When what they've got is this massive community of millions of people, they can also provide rarer assets to them. So in the case, for example, you could provide a single recording that nobody else has and give it to your superfan, and it could be worth millions. So you can monetize all across your fan base, much like most subscription-based businesses do. So that creates revenue streams for musicians. They also could put their IP rights on. So as they move around, they automatically accrue IP. And you can sell baskets of IP rights. We're already seeing artists sell, their back catalogs, but if you tokenize them and sell them, you can have still part of the stream. Maybe you maintain 20%, much like Beeple has with his art and some of these NFTs are with art. It changes the economics and gets rid of middlemen. It just ekes out more for the actual people. That, I think, is really interesting. We're also seeing the rise of community tokens, and people haven't quite seen this yet, but this is coming and it's going to be gigantic. So there is a platform called Socios that has a coin called Chili's, which I don't own, but they have built community tokens for big football clubs, soccer clubs in Europe, AC Milan, FC Barcelona, a bunch of others. And what, as a fan, you get is a token of which you can get benefits. So they're like fan club benefits, including voting for what kind of kit they wear, or some of the choices. So you're actually involved. Your community token has meaning. So it also has value. So if the team does better, your token's worth better. And you're kind of part of that ecosystem, and it will give you benefits like tickets and stuff like that. So that is the start of where this is going. Everybody who monetizes online in any way, shape, or form is going to have a token. Right now, we're used to subscription models. Right now, artists, for example, or influencers have to leverage Google and Facebook to basically monetize. And that's where brands and themselves meet and and they use advertising and other methods. But once you've got community that has a token and you have direct access to them, then you can monetize in a number of ways and create value for the community. Or you can destroy value for the community. But that's for the community to be involved in, and you can share in successes. And we're going to see this from everybody from sports stars to YouTube channels to actors and actresses, through to charities, through to, you name it. Anything with a community is going to tokenize. And it's going to unlock vast amounts of value. It's going to unlock ability for people to participate and feel part of something, of a society which has its own form of money. And the money can go up and down in value, or it may be stable, it may be utility and function, and that's okay, but you can't be part of the society without it. But once you've got it, it means the artist can speak to you directly, or the charity, or whatever. So community is going to be explosive. People like Raoul and stuff like that, people have no comprehension how large this is going to be. I think it's one of the largest underpriced parts of the market.